Okay, so in this video, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be covering our scorpion sweep. This is a super cool sweep. Now, very important fact here, you notice that I don't have anybody here on camera with me because this scorpion sweep can be somewhat devastating if not done on somebody who's really good at falling and on a nice smooth surface. That being said, I am going to use our stack and smack blocks here. If you have already learned a hook kick, this is essentially what we're doing. We're adding a spin and we're doing it on the floor. So if you think about a scorpion, it's got a tail that kind of flicks around, right? Well, in this particular case, we're using the scorpion sweep. So we're going to slide our tail around sideways. When we do this, we want to use a lot of momentum. Momentum is your friend. I like to tell people when they're trying to practice this, maybe throw a hand out here, throw a jab out. Same thing if you've already learned a spin hook kick, if you've already been through that segment, you know that throwing this hand out wide and then pulling it in helps you to have a snappier kick. So that's what we're going to be doing today, but we're going to do it down low. So imagine that, let me use one of these at a time here. Imagine that this right here is my opponent's leg. Now, you might do this if they're throwing a bunch of high kicks up to your head. Maybe they keep throwing this knee up here to shin check you, okay? This is when you would throw this technique. You're gonna be using your rear leg for this, unless you're doing it with a step around, but we're gonna deal with that on a different day. So on this particular case, we're gonna be using our rear leg. What we're gonna do is we're gonna change our level. You have to be careful with this. You don't want to lean forward, especially if they're doing a bunch of shin checking. If they're doing a bunch of shin checking and you lean forward into this technique, their knee is going to find your nose, and we don't want that to happen. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to sit. So your body kind of stays up, you sit down. Now notice what I've done here, I'm on the ball of my foot and I'm sitting on my own heel. If you struggle with hip and ankle flexibility, you're going to struggle with this technique, so make sure that you're stretching those hips and those ankles here. Now that I'm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin around by putting my hands behind me and allowing them to help pull me around. This foot is going to stick out and come all the way around through here. Now I've put my knee down because I wanted to be able to show you this. What I'm actually doing is extending this way out here, okay, and I'm posted up here so that I'm hitting their leg kind of with my calf muscle, not so much with my heel or my ankle. Depending on where I hit them, that can be really painful. I really kind of want to hit them with the lower calf muscle here. So as I'm doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop, pivot, shoot this out almost like a back kick, boom, or a side kick, and then spin through to knock them down, okay? So with a little bit more speed here, because this does require some speed, you can't really do it slow motion, okay? From here, I'm going to maybe shoot that jab out, maybe cover up, and then drop, boom. Now, you probably can't see this on the camera, but there's a nice little circle here on the ground that is a mark from my foot. If you're doing this technique right, you should get a little mark on the floor like that because it means you're staying nice and low to the ground. The higher you hit on your opponent's leg, the more likely they are to stop you from sweeping them here. The lower you hit toward their ankle, the more effective this is. If you can hit the back of the ankle, it's even better. Hitting to the side can work, but really the back of the ankle is what we're looking for. A great way to set this up is to be working with somebody in an open stance, okay? When they're in the open stance, they may be picking up that back leg, okay, to try to throw roundhouse kicks or something, and you can drop underneath that, slide down, and throw your spin hook kick, not your spin hook kick, sorry, your scorpion sweep to the back of their ankle. Another way to do it is if they like to throw a lot of these high side kicks, you can go down underneath those and hit the back of their ankle. Just be aware, when you do this, their legs are going to come way up in the air and they're going to fall from a long way down. So make sure you're not doing this on somebody who's not used to falling. I'm going to do this one more time facing the camera here so that you can see the way it moves. From here, I'm going to drop, spin, and come all the way back up and around. All right, guys, there's your scorpion sweep. Please be careful as you work with this. If you're working with this in tennis shoes or something, they don't pivot as well. You want something that's got a little bit of slickness to the bottom of it. You also want to make sure that you don't roll your ankle as you do this. So get used to getting down into that position. Maybe even just kind of sit on your own heel here and stick your leg out and just get used to that balance right there in that position so that you're ready to do this whenever the spin happens. All right, guys, there's your scorpion sweep. Good luck with that. Train safely. We'll see you in the next video.